So, good evening. We are back again. Kenny's having difficulty with his camera settings.
Right.
Backstage at the moment. Here he is. Is he there? I think he's there.
Can you show me how do I get my camera settings back? I need help.
This is why you're banned from other podcasts, Kenny.
I know. I kicked over my thing. And then my camera went.
Go to settings.
Settings.
Camera.
Settings, and go camera.
And then it should say iPhone or whatever you're on. I think you're on iPhone, yeah? You should have an option.
No, I'm in a computer.
Oh, okay. Well, it should say MacBook or whatever computer camera then. Mine says FaceTime HD camera built in.
Yeah, that's what mine says. That's on my MacBook.
Have you had a software update?
Yeah. But
you've got to go out and reboot, and
come back. You're gonna be back in about half an hour, Kenny. Otherwise,
I had it the other day, Kenny. I had exactly the same. I had an update on Opera, the thing I use on here, and it knocked my camera.
I was in already, but I just kicked the thing over because I was talking.
Come out of this, go into StreamYard, right?
Yeah.
Reload StreamYard, then come back, and it should work.
Yeah, it might do. Yeah, that might work actually. But anyway, Jez, how are you, mate?
I'm good, man. Yeah, I'm all good. Yeah, all good. Yeah. I had a very interesting conversation today, actually. You know, I'm trying to do this book. I was speaking to a proposed publisher down in Seven Oaks, I think, and I was quite shocked actually. You have to have 100 printed minimum.
Mm.
It's the lowest you can have done, right? And that can be anywhere from 1,500 to $2,000.
Wow.
Like, fuck off. Fucking hell.
Mate, that's crazy.
I'm not sure it's worth bothering, to be honest. Anyway, we'll see. There you go. See?
He's back. Oh, no, Jez, do it, man. You'll sell 100, no problem. Just whack them out. Hey, listen, if Charlie Boy Watts can whack them out at 20 quid a pop, mate, so can you. And I'm sure you know more about the club than him.
I'm still going to do it. If the weather's nice, I'm actually going to go up to Highbury on Thursday. I want to take some photographs of how it is now. Gillespie Road now, Avenel Road, Highbury Hill, and all that bullshit. And then, I won't bore you with it. I'm just trying to get.
You ain't boring us, mate. You ain't boring me. I enjoy listening to you, Jez. I can listen to you all day, mate.
I'm trying to get the structure of where the pictures would go and all this. It's bloody complicated, man. Honestly, I didn't think it was this hard. I didn't think it was this hard, but it's fun. It's fun.
Exactly, keeps you busy, keeps you out the way of the wife. She's happy, and you've got a little project to work on, man. And I'm sure once it is published, I'm sure the chat will love it as well. Big up to everyone in the chat. Listen, make sure you sub to the channel I've just put in the chat. Yeah, make sure you sub to that. My friend's in Thailand. Make sure you sub to him, yeah? Right, he's nearly on 250, nearly on 250 subs. So go and sub to him right now, people. I'll pin it. Also sub to Jez. How many subs you on now, Jez?
Oh, that's funny you should say that. I hit 4.401 the other night. Now it's gone back to 4.398. I don't understand YouTube. Go up.
They take them off, they put them back on. If you get a lot in a short space of time, they take them all off the next night or the next day, verify them to make sure they're not bots, and then they put them back on. Happens all the time. Like I have 50 taken off in one hit. I go to bed, I think, oh, flipping hell, subs have gone up. Now I wake up next morning and there's 50 less again. I'm like, what's happened here? But
I went up something like 40 subs in one evening. You put it on your community page. I had loads of people come in and watch the show. And I thought, oh, this is cool. And then it was like, I'm glad I didn't put it out there. That I'm 4.4. And then the next day it's gone down. So I'm like, oh, I'd look at that, wouldn't I? So
nah, go back up, mate. Don't worry. Don't worry. We're going to stick the link in the chat as well. Kenny, you're back.
Oh, you know what? It was only something simple. You know, when you go in settings, I forgot to put MacBook settings. That's all it was.
There you go.
there you
go.
are. There
Easy
you are.
peasy. It's easy when you know how. Anyway, we've got loads to talk about. David Dean's ruffled some feathers. All the top Gooners are in bits. They're all crying. Oh, David Dean, he ain't Arsenal. He bought the Cronkies and this went off to the club. He's an old man. He needs to shut up. What do we know? What does he know about football? Oh, for the people that have commented on the Talk Sport post, haven't got a Scooby-Doo who David Dean is.
Nope.
Yet they all support the club, or the majority of them, from scrolling through the comments and quotes. They haven't got a clue who he is, yet they support the club because of his decisions of bringing Arsene Wenger to the football club, George Graham before that, and many, many, many of the superstar players that we've had over the years, not just this lot, but even before this lot, with the likes of Ian Wright, Kevin Campbell. We could go on and on and on. We could reel off loads. And the disrespect I've seen towards David Dean for actually sitting there and just giving his thoughts and opinions, and people are still moaning, oh, why are you talking about it 3 weeks later? Well, you lot were talking about it only less than a week ago when the footage was released. So now David Dean's on TalkSport. He gets asked a question by, I think it was Sean Custis, and I thought the way he answered the question was nailed on. People will say, yeah, you're only saying that because he's gone against Arteta. He actually didn't go against Arteta. What he said was, he's not shown the club in a great light. Yeah. And we had one shot on target in 101 minutes of football. You know, it probably wasn't the best thing to do. And he wouldn't have put a statement out, and he would have pulled him to the side and said, look, come on. But he also said, you've also got respect that the manager's in a high intense situation. He feels aggrieved and the emotions are running high. Why people are suddenly cussing him is unbelievable. I've actually met David Dean outside Stamford Bridge. Kenny, I think you was there. Was it me, you and Afsal? I don't know where you was. Oh no, that was when Claude had his turn. You was giving Claude a bottle of water. me and Afsal were chatting to David Dean for about 10 minutes. What a nice guy, man. Proper nice geezer. But what do you make of his comments, and what do you make of all the fallout? Because there is a lot of people like, unbelievable, man. I can't believe it, Jez, honestly. Well, I can believe it because that sums up the current state of our football club fan base.
Let's put it right here. Let's put it right here. Okay. This man is an absolute gentleman. I was very privileged to have met him for many, many, many times. I think I've told you this fact once before. He used to live in Avenel Road, right? About 4 doors down from the junction, Avenel and Gillespie Road, yeah? He used to drink in the same pub my granddad used to go in. And he was a top fella. He was the nicest man you'd ever meet. And the fact is, right, he'd always have time to talk to people, talk to kids outside the ground. So I will never accept any bullshit about David Dein. And you are quite right, Lee. He brought in some brilliant players to Arsenal. David Seaman, name but one, right? And I can go on and I could go on and bore the living daylights of many people that I know he brought in because it was David Dein. And it's through the statement, when David Dein knocked on your office door, it made a different sound, man, because that man made Arsenal what it was when Arsene Wenger came into this club, right? All right, Bruce Rioch brought in Dennis Bergkamp. Fair play, right? Who was it? Who was our chief executive who brought in Thierry Henry? Patrick Vieira, Robert Pires, icons of the football club. Right? Yeah, David Rocastle, icon of this football club. You know, I mean, I just don't get the disrespect, and that is what I get so angry about. Because as you quite rightly said, Lee, a lot of these little moaning little prats don't even know who the guy is. I bet if I went up to Highbury, as I'm planning to take some photographs Thursday if the weather's nice, and I go down to the Emirates and say to a random Arsenal fan, who was David Dein? They wouldn't have a bloody Scooby. and it really winds me up. It really winds me up, seriously. And when I watched that interview, or the clips of it, right, I thought the man's talking sense. He's actually talking sense. The fact he said, if I was still in charge, I would discipline Arteta. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
That is showing proper bloody management. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now.
No, mate, listen, I totally agree with you. Look, at the end of the day, it's no coincidence that when he left the football club in 2007, we have been an absolute shambles on and off the pitch. Yeah, and Wenger fell off a cliff. Like, let's just be real with it. Yeah, listen, he also said there was another clip as well that's not got so much traction because obviously it's not cussing Arteta, and people love to protect Arteta like he's their father or family member. So they obviously jump on it more so when somebody's, well, he didn't even cuss Arteta, but going against the grain. Yeah, but there's another clip doing the rounds that said that every day working with Arsene Wenger wasn't even work. Day turned into night just like that. Yeah, and it wasn't a job to him. It was a pleasure to work with Wenger. Yeah, and then they asked him like whether he missed it, whether he misses the club. And he said that when he left the football club, he said it was one of the hardest times in his life. Yeah, this guy is proper Arsenal. Yeah, like when I think of Arsenal, right, obviously Tony Adams, yeah, David O'Leary, Rocky, David Dein, George Graham, Wenger, Bergkamp, Henry. They're the ones that come straight to my head. Yeah, how people are sitting there. Yeah, like Kenny, let me come to you because like I said my piece on Twitter last night, and I've called a few people out like that. Oh yeah, well, you know, he's an old man, and what? He's an old man that built this football club up into being one of the best football clubs in the country, if not in Europe. I know we didn't win in Europe necessarily, right? Well, we did under George Graham, yeah, but he built us up to be one of the best teams in the country, classy Arsenal, yeah. And do you have any grievance or any problem with what he said? Because like for me, I just think it's crazy.
Lee, absolutely not. That's what we were saying 2 weeks ago after the match. We mentioned about the result and how we had one shot on target, and that we actually mused at the fact that if we were still playing now, we wouldn't have scored. That is something all three of us agreed on. You can't deny that. You can't deny that. And also, you know, a lot of Arsenal fans talk about my manager, Mr. Arteta. It's just, you know, like I said, putting a kind of a veil over what really happened and what's really been happening this season. We are very, very inconsistent. We haven't, reached the heights. We only played well in 4 or 5 games or 4.5 games. That's just facts. The problem with a lot of what Arsenal fans are saying is that don't just put it down to people who don't know David Dein is. These people do know David Dein are. What David Dein's done is that he's an inconvenient truth. Because we all say the truth always gets in the way of a good story. And the situation is regarding Mr. Dein, and I call him Mr. Dein because of what he's done for the club. And then every time I shake his hand, I say Mr. Dein, is that, as I said, the truth is the biggest inconvenience to the top Gooners. The top Gooners are saying, I respect Mr. Dein for everything he did for the club, but he's wrong on this issue. No, he's not wrong. What he's done is that he's got in the way of your agenda. And your agenda is to promote yourself as these top Gooners who basically are running a kind of a jingoistic style of support where Arsenal, everything that Arsenal does is gold dust. If we lose, it's because referees against us. If TalkSport don't praise us enough, TalkSport hate Arsenal. If a pundit don't praise us enough, that pundit hates Arsenal. Sky hates Arsenal. The BBC hates Arsenal. Everyone hates Arsenal, including teams that don't support Arsenal. I mean, this siege mentality is so out of fashion. It was fashionable before social media when we were really hated under George Graham and when we really hated under Arsene Wenger because of the amount of 7 loss we had. Now, everyone has to wear the same uniform when it comes to comments from Mr. Dein. They're probably slagging off Mr. Dein because he went on Top Sport in the first place. The fact is, his words are, if that was us, I wouldn't have made that statement. And he never did. Arsenal fans have got really short memory, especially the top Gooners, the so-called top Gooners, who knew full well that the backlash we got when we had Vieira, Petit, and all our players getting sent off regularly, the record 70 sending off was about 70 sending off under Arsene Wenger. So Arsene Wenger was around came in 96, and throughout the great teams, we had about 70-something players sent off. Not once did Arsene.
How many leg breaks we had under Arsene Wenger as well? That's
exactly.
Leg breaks.
Not once did Arsene Wenger do what Arteta did. Not once. When we got 2 points, George Graham didn't come out and start whinging about referees and whinging about the FA. It's only this man. And the reason why this man can do it is because he's got acolytes within the football club and acolytes with the fans. You know the common denominator is when fans do this, it's because they're not winning. If we're winning trophies, we wouldn't have time to moan about referees. You don't hear City moan about referees. You don't hear Chelsea moan about referees. The one time Chelsea moaned about referee was when it was valid, and that was in the semi-final of the Champions League in 2009 when they were cheated out of that game against Barcelona. Apart from that, you don't hear Chelsea moan about referees. You heard Liverpool moan about referees because they had no choice, because the referees basically said, we made a mistake, it should have been a goal. But Arsenal, it's every time Dick and Harry, Arteta's going, me. Come on, man. Stop trying to force all Arsenal fans to follow your persecuted ways. I'm sick and tired of you lot. You're boring. You're grown men, you're children. This isn't how it's seen out of CBBS or CBBC. Stop trying to, curry favour. Let me tell you something now. We've seen a lot of people's true colours from the Wenger days. The amount of people who were all trying to be our friends when they wanted Arsene Wenger out, now all of a sudden, they've all shown their true colours. They're slagging us off left, right and centre because we're thinking, hang on, we want Arsenal to be great. So you see it. You go on Twitter and it's a mess. An absolute mess.
My notifications on there last night. There's this one guy, I'm not going to say his name, yeah. He has got to be the most special person on that platform. Yeah, he's in the upper tier North Bank season ticket holder, right? And literally every day that guy tweets me complete and utter shit. And when I say shit, it's nasty, horrible, like cutting.
Yeah, but he was Wenger out though. He was a Wenger out,
and he was on the marches, exactly.
He was a Wenger out on the marches. Now all of a sudden, no, but what he's done, Lee, is that he has looked at Twitter. And he's found what is going to get me likes, what's going to get me follows, and what is the most popular opinion. So the most popular opinion is to back Arteta, my manager. Seriously, my manager? Who are you? Is it like a school playground where you got your big brother to beat up the school bully, or you brought your dad in to have a go at a teacher who's bullying you? Come on, it's embarrassing. These guys are embarrassing. Talk about football. Talk about the situation. Let's talk about, issues within football, i.e. Everton getting their points docked. Or let's talk about City and Chelsea. Oh, we might as well not do that because Arsenal fans are now going to start wanting their pound of flesh because we've been average for the last 20 years. So we want all of City's and Chelsea's success to be evaporated, and we can write history and say that's why we didn't win the title of the Champions League because Chelsea and City cheated. That's our fans in a nutshell. Not the fans that go to matches, but the fans who've basically pushed in the queue, pushed to the front of the queue, and basically told all of us they speak for us, and that we should basically stand around, cheer and applaud whilst they're on Sky Sports and go, yeah, she represents me. They represent me. I mean, what do you expect for our fans? Last week you had the mess of Nick Ramsdale, on a show where he's basically been bigging up his son who got dropped from a football team. I mean, I've been saying this for months when I first saw him in podcasts that this is going to happen. And I was right about that. That's the problem with our fans. They're so far up their backsides, they forget that the club comes first, second, or third. But I'm not sure with these top Gooners. I think these top Gooners, their ambitions to become well-known, famous, monetized, supersedes their love for our great club. Blatant.
With a lot of them, 100%. They're more interested in the accolades, the awards, the the red carpet, the champagne lunch, the invite to the executive box, the invite to an award ceremony, an invite to be a sports writer for a shit newspaper online, making their debut on Sky Sports and all this crap. Yeah, when the fact and reality is the only way you get that is by lying. Yeah, by lying, because I can't listen to any of these people because I know they're not telling the truth. Yeah, like and a lot of the same people that are doing that had totally different opinions when we were just getting top four and nicking an FA Cup every year under Wenger. A lot of them wanted Wenger gone. And this is where I find it hilarious, because these people know that we know that. Yeah, but they can con a lot of people that don't know that, but they can't con us because we know that they run marches. We know their thoughts on certain managers.
Lee, in a nutshell, all those people who either got banners out or went in those marches, they used the Wenger out campaign or Arsene Wenger as a tool to promote themselves and put as top gooners or as people who should be listened to. They use that for their own ends, and that's been proved blatantly. You look at how the subscribers that they have in their YouTube channels. You look at the fact that you look at their Twitter handles. They all follow the same people, but when they didn't need these people, dropped them like a bad habit.
Yeah, facts. Absolute facts. And listen, ain't going to change anytime soon because, unfortunately, mate, the club play up to these people. Yeah, the club play up to these people. Like, I'm seeing the other day multiple posts doing the rounds on Twitter. Right, one of them, by the way, spread fake news about Thomas Partey getting on not being on the plane when he was on a plane. And that guy ended up going off to Nottingham Forest for a year, and now he's wormed his way back into Arsenal. Yeah, but they're all talking about some 13-year-old lad that was playing for the under-16s the other night, scored a couple, got a couple of assists, and a 16-year-old lad who's trained with every single level above and the first team this season, allegedly, yeah, that scored 10 goals and got 3 assists in a game when we beat Liverpool 14-3. I've never heard of the kid. Nobody's ever heard of him. Yeah, nobody watches under-16s Arsenal. But now apparently he's the next greatest thing to come out because it's been put out there by one journalist who, well, I say journalist in the loosest of sense. Yeah. But now everyone's oh my God, this kid's going to be a super. No. Hold up, mate. Hold up. But that's how you get likes. That's how you get traction. That's how you get liked on social media. Yeah. You just have to jump on every single wave. Yeah. And be toxic positive. But then when it's somebody slagging the club off, not even slagging the club off. Yeah. Gary Neville, like Felice put in the chat earlier, Gary Neville said, Man City are champions. They're favourites. They should win the title again. Oh, he hates Arsenal. He's got an agenda. Well, no, it's factual information. They're the best club in the country. They've got the best manager. Yeah, and they should win the league again. That don't mean he hates Arsenal. Just means that you can't take a different opinion. Yeah, and you lot all sit there and go, oh, well, you can't compete with Man City. Well, why would Gary Neville think we can compete with Man City then? Like, make it make sense. But again, that leads me on perfectly, Jez, to the Everton docked points. And the Man City Chelsea saga, right? And Everton, one charge, admitted the one charge. Yes, we're guilty. One charge, job done. Bish, bash, bosh, 10 points. Oh, but it's harsh. It's harsh. It's harsh. They've admitted they've broken the rules. So they've got a sanction on that. Whether you think 10 points is harsh or not, oh, that's by the by. They've got a right to appeal and they'll probably win the appeal and it'll probably be halved anyway. Chelsea, under their new ownership, have said to FIFA, UEFA, the Premier League, whoever it was, that there's some discrepancy somewhere with Roman's era. We're going to highlight that to you, which is cool. They've done the right thing. Good luck to them, whatever. But then there's another story come out about Chelsea that the Guardian, I think it was, and a load of Dutch journalists, can't remember the names of the journalists or whatever, they've been doing undercover work, yeah, to find out irregular payment methods. When Eden Hazard signed for Arsenal, should have signed for Arsenal, his agent got him to Chelsea. Then his agent got money from this company linked to Roman's cut. Like, come on, man. Yeah. And then people are trying to make out that Man City are guilty before anyone's even heard of it. And the difference with that Man City one and the second Chelsea thing. Yeah. Well, the second Chelsea thing hasn't even been highlighted with any organisation as far as I'm aware. Yeah, I don't think they've been sanctioned on that or charged on anything on that. Man City's charges, they've denied all of them. Yeah, and all I've heard all week since that Everton points deduction is, oh, how comes Man City ain't been docked yet? Yeah, then obviously all the mainstream run with it and go, Man City and Chelsea will be relegated. Man City and Chelsea, 30-point deduction. They will be relegated. Will be relegated based on what? Because we don't know all the charges. We don't know any of the offences, really. And Man City have rejected all of them and said, cool, take us to court and prove it. Yeah. What do you make of it all, Jez?
Well, the fact, look, you know, Everton has stood up and said, we're guilty. We'll take it on the nose and we'll take one for the team. Right? They've done it. Fair play. They're going to appeal. And I agree. That will probably go to the tribunal in front of the FA and it will get knocked back to 5 points. I don't know. But the reason, it's quite obvious why the Man City thing is Everton have got one charge, right? Man City have got 115. So it's not going to be a simple thing of just going, oh, right, yeah, they're guilty on that. Yeah, okay, that's done. Right, it's going to take a lot of people, a lot of time to examine that data, investigate it. I wouldn't be at all surprised, Lee, Kenny, if that takes 5 years plus, because it's going to have top lawyers involved in that. You're going to have defence. You're going to have the FA with their prosecution type counsel situation going on. So it's going to take forever. Now, the Chelsea one, right? Yeah. I'm sure Abramovich doesn't give a flying F. He doesn't own the club anymore. He doesn't care. He's not interested. He's a multi-billionaire, probably sat somewhere on one of his yachts, God knows where, in the Caribbean or somewhere around Dubai, or I don't know where. But, you know, the problem belongs with Chelsea at the end of the day. And Abramovich is gone. He's out the picture. He's left. Long gone, you know, and I just find it amusing. I really do. Do these people, I mean, I'm no lawyer. I'm no expert in law, but I do know that things take a long time in law. You know, if very simplistic way of looking at it, right? If you murder somebody and the evidence is there, right, it can still take a year, even if you admit it. It can take a year to go to court because the prosecution and your defence have got to get their facts together to build the case, and then it's got to go before the court, right? So I just don't understand these people that thick that it's one accusation from Everton. They've admitted it and said, yes, we're wrong. We broke the rules. Whatever we did, we were just going to take it on the nose. End of story. Manchester City, having the owners they've got, are going to say, no. You prove it first, and then we'll counter argument against you. It's going to go for years, man. And then you hear this stupid bullshit of, oh, well, if they get found guilty, oh, they've got to take their treble away from them. Really? Really?
Yeah, Arsenal rode a league title last season.
These people have got to grow up and get a brain. Seriously. You know, we're not living in cloud cuckoo land here. We're living in the real world. And in the real world, things don't always go easy. Kenny, the floor is yours, man.
But the thing about it, right, is that the whole situation. Let's go in sort of reverse order. You've got Leeds, Burnley, and Leicester now saying that Everton could be got more points because they want compensation. Let's start with Leicester. Leicester City last season built a new training ground. All their money went in a new training ground. As a consequence, they couldn't get their priorities right, and actually, you know, spend it on the team. Hence the fact they got relegated. So that's fact one. Fact two: Leeds United. How many managers do they sack within 18 months? Don't you think that is? Do you see that as a basis of continuity and a basis of a settled team? No, they got relegated as a consequence. As for Burnley, how Burnley have been staying up, you'll never know, mate. With the way they've played, oh yes, they sacked Sean Dyche.
And they got relegated.
Staying up, and they got relegated. So it's a bit far-fetched for Chelsea, for Burnley, Leicester and Leeds to actually want some sort of compensation where on the pitch they shot themselves in the foot, all three teams. So let's deal with that one. Now we get to other clubs. Arsenal fans all of a sudden want upset about Eden Hazard, that we didn't get Eden Hazard because Chelsea used illegal payments to gazump us and Tottenham. So they want Spurs involved, the club that you hate. Let's just talk about Arsenal fans. These are the same fans, by the way, who wanted Usman off to do exactly what Abramovich did. They didn't care where the money was coming. We all thought that Abramovich was laundering money through his football club and cleaning it up. And we wanted Usman to do that at all costs as long as we compete with Chelsea. And we hated the Quankeries because they weren't spending the sort of money that Abramovich was spending. But all of a sudden now, Chelsea and Man City are doping. Make it make sense, eh? The hypocrisy from a lot of football fans. Let me tell you something now. Every football fan, whether they're bottom of the table or top of the table, want a billionaire from abroad. In 10 years' time, they're going to want a trillionaire. We don't want millionaires. We want billionaires, because we've seen that the way to success is by making sure you get the best manager, the best players, the best technical director, and the best facilities. And basically, all of them cost money. So we can't have it both ways. You can't start whinging and crying because you're not winning trophies, but wanting to use the same process as everyone else. And then all of a sudden, you're praying that, oh, yes, City gets stripped of their titles, Chelsea gets stripped of titles. Well, let's get it right. We finished second. Since we won, since 2004, we finished second 2005, we finished second in 2016, and we finished second last season. So if these teams get stripped of their titles, I don't see how it's going to benefit Arsenal, because we're nowhere in the running. During those times, we finished either third or fourth. So how does this benefit Arsenal? You know, I always believe it happens on the pitch. In terms of Man City, Jez is right. You know, if you've got 115 charges, you can't just go up to Man City and say, yeah, we'll charge you tomorrow. Because let's get it right. Man City have got a record of winning these cases where they've either been fined or dropped out or been kicked out of the European competition, because they've seen off UEFA and they're going to be fairly confident they're going to be able to see off the Premier League, because they're going to get the best lawyers, you know, involved, and they're going to fight every charge for everything, because they're not going to let something they worked hard for or spent, you know, money on to just go to dust. They're going to fight to death, and if they're found guilty, then fine. But where I come from, it happens on the pitch. We didn't win the titles because we weren't good enough. Not because Man City cheated, because we weren't good enough, and we didn't have the balls to compete with them financially. That's why we didn't win. Not because Man City had the Sheikh or Chelsea had Roman. Simple as. By Chelsea, like, basically saying, oh yeah, we'll give you everything we got. They're trying to remove any trace of Roman from their club. That's all it is. That's nothing to do with them being like I said, being outraged about what happened. It's all about the new era of Bowley. Yesterday's news is Roman. So why don't football fans just see as it is? Another thing as well, you guys haven't got a clue about the business side of things. You haven't got a clue about the rules or where they're broken or not. You only know the only reason why you think the rules have been broken is because the bloody Premier League had told you. That's all it did. They just feeded your
some of the charges, by the way, was the grass was 1 millimeter too short. The away dressing room, or the away medical room in the dressing room or something was 1 square meter too short, and too small. I mean, some of these charges are just ridiculous. We don't know the whole 115 charges, but when the charges come out, I guarantee they won't get done for anything major, because if they're taking that to court and saying, cool, charge us all you like, mate, but prove it, and Pep's sitting there, like, and having that look on his face, and that galvanized him, because he sat in that press conference when them charges were landed on their table, them 115, and he said, no, I've spoke to the ownership of this football club. When I've heard Khaldoon Al-Mubarak, their top boy, talking about it, they are so confident they've done nothing wrong. Now listen, they might be very good bluffers. They might be very good at poker, I don't know. But I think there's going to be a lot of disappointed rival fans when it comes back that they've been fined 20 million quid for breaching the dressing room size being too small and the grass being too short, and the kit lady's not had a pay rise in 4 years or something. I don't know. Some of the charges are ridiculous. But what I do find funny is the fact that so many people are sitting there hoping and praying that City and Chelsea miraculously just disappear. And it's like,
sorry to interrupt you.
Go on, mate. I'll go and grab a beer. Go on, I'm listening.
How can you get done, right, for the grass being 1 millimeter too short? Because did they measure every blade of grass on that pitch? Because I'm sorry, for that to be a charge against the club, then you have to take meticulous measurements over the whole area of that pitch. It might be slightly shorter in the 18 spots because there's a rise in the grass, and that, everybody knows if you've got a lawn that you have to cut in the summer, sometimes it's a bit longer here, it's a bit shorter there, because nothing is ever perfectly flat. The earth moves, things change. So I think I find that absolutely laughable.
Well, see, that's the thing, Jez.
Go on, mate.
Out of the 150 charges, it's Man City. I'm convinced. I haven't seen charges because I have no interest in them. But you try and tell me that all of that someone has worked, has taken all that time to find 115 charges, and they're all legitimate charges. I mean, the things that I'm just now, it just makes me, it's laughable. It's laughable. But that's the problem we have with English football. English football.
The judge will be sitting there in a high court, right? So you're being accused of the grass 1 millimeter short. But I want to see the survey of the whole pitch. I want to see the survey of every blade of grass. But this
is what I'm saying, though, Jez. Some of the charges are pathetic. Like, honestly, some of the charges are pathetic. The Premier League mixed up the rule book. And had to rewrite the charges once City pointed out their glaring error. Well, there you go. Nothing to do with the grass. The Premier League mixed up the rule book and it had to rewrite the charges once City pointed out their error. So that tells you right there, the organisation that is charging a club with 115 breaches of the rules can't even get the rules right because they're doing it off of previous year's rules. No wonder man's sitting there going, cool, take us to court then, mate, because you lot are a shambles. Like, come on.
But that's exactly the situation as well, is that they need to be very careful with Man City. Because if you look at what happened with Alan Abramovich and Chelsea, I'm not saying they basically waved the white flag with UEFA, but they took their transfer embargo on the chin. And it looks like they're going to take this on the chin. Man City are a different animal. They're not going to mess around. Even if the Premier League, either relegates them or, docks some points, they're fighting this. And they're going to fighting this. And they'll find a way to win. And that's the thing with all these, situations where you have about players being banned for life because they've failed dope tests or clubs being relegated, blah, blah. The court of law will always turn it around. And that's why we're doing what we should be doing, is concentrating on football. Forget about Man City. Forget about whether they're winning or not. As far as I'm concerned, Man City is the team to beat. And until that changes, until Newcastle grow a pair, or Arsenal grow a pair, or Liverpool grow a pair and start challenging their dominance, then that's the way it's got to be. And that's all football fans should be concentrating on. You know, you knew the rules from when Abramovich first bought Chelsea, how it's going to come. Arsene Wenger warned us that what the situation is. But then again, let's not forget, before Chelsea, Arsenal and Man United were dominating football, and Arsenal and Man United were more than happy with the status quo and with, you know, that cartel between them, us and them for the title. They loved it. Didn't want anyone else, you know, pissing all over their parade. They fell asleep at the wheel. Chelsea dominated. Well, tried to dominate, but Sir Alex was there. But since Sir Alex is gone, everyone's fallen asleep at the wheel, except for probably Jurgen Klopp. But Jurgen Klopp just hasn't got the defence to give City a proper run for their money. But they're having a go. All the rest of us are useless because City are that far ahead. And we just have to accept it and accept the fact that they're far ahead because they've got the best team, the best manager, and everything.
At the end of the day, fact.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, I was going to say, I would bet if I had £1 million, which I haven't, right? Lee, you go to Chelsea. Kenny, you go to White Hart Lane. I'm at the Emirates, and we're all there right now with our tape measures, and we go, what's the length of the grass, Lee?
What's the size of the dressing room, Jez?
It's 3. Oh, Kenny, what's the length of the grass, mate?
I'm saying
4.
Right, this comment is spot on. Only 6 of the charges are something to worry about coming out from the City camp, right? And that is exactly it. But the way the Premier League have done it, they've done it exactly in the way and thrown in everything that they could possibly find, right? Because Man City are turning this league into a farmers' league, mate. Yeah. And the Premier League, that ain't good for their product. Yeah, because they want 3 or 4 teams winning the league over 3 or 4 years. Yeah, look at La Liga. They've had 3 winners in the last 3 years. Barca, Madrid, and Atleti. Yeah. In our league, Man City, Man City, Man City. Yeah, before that, Liverpool, Man City, Man City. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, let's not get Man United's dominance as well. Man United's dominance as well, runs to Alex. You know, I think what the thing about it is that there's a lot of people who arrogantly, deludedly, if you like, say that our league's the best in the world. How can our league be the best in the world where teams don't even lay the glove on City? I mean, City, you know, during lockdown season, City were awful, but they still managed to win the league comfortably in 2021. 2022, you know, they were.
United came second, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it. When United came second, and Man United didn't lose an away game, and then 2022, Liverpool
about 12 points behind.
Yeah, Liverpool joined the party pretty late, but it was always, you know, you always thought it was going to be City's league anyway. Last season, we had a chance, we blew it and bottled it, and City took over. You know, let's not. You know, do you hear people in Germany slagging off Bayern Munich? They probably do, but what's the difference between Man City's dominance recently to Bayern Munich's dominance of Germany? No different, is it?
Not really, no. Not really. But again,
we've got the most exciting league, though.
But that comes back to well-run football clubs, and there's not many well-run. And when I say well-run, I mean geared up for winning at all costs. Bayern Munich sacked Salihamidzic and Oliver Kahn on the eve of their game to win the league. Yeah, and if Dortmund had actually finished their dinner, they would have won the league regardless of Bayern's result. But again, because it's Bayern Munich, they've now sacked 2 footballing icons of their football club and German league football. Yeah, they've sacked both of them on the eve of that game and stopped. Well, in fact, they sacked Salihamidzic on the pitch so he couldn't celebrate the win. Yeah, they sacked him on the pitch, and Oliver Kahn was banned from going to the game. Yeah, that is the levels. Man City are do the same if they had to. Yeah, but again, Bayern Munich sacked a manager second in the table with a handful of games to go. How many clubs in world football would do that? Yeah, and I've seen people sitting there. I had some fella on Twitter last night saying a load of rubbish about, but Real Madrid fans are moaning because of this, and that, and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, we've got the best manager. And I was like, mate, Real Madrid have had like 16, 17 managers since 2004. Yeah, and they've won 29 trophies in that time, and they've sacked managers the day after winning leagues and Champions Leagues. Yeah, Bayern Munich sack a manager. Yeah, and Bayern Munich won 32 trophies and had 16 or 15 managers since 2004. 32 trophies. Why do they keep winning? Why do Real Madrid keep winning? Look at Chelsea under Abramovich. They must have had about 16 managers under Abramovich. Yeah, but they kept finding a way. Why? Because the standards of the football club are being held up regardless. And if you don't fit the standards anymore, whether you're 1 point off top or 101 points off top, you're gone. And even if you win, you better win in style. And that is the difference with them three football clubs. Maybe not so now Abramovich is gone, but them two, Bayern and Real Madrid. Yeah, people keep saying to me all the time, well, why do you keep comparing us to Bayern and Real Madrid? Well, number one, we've outspent both of them since 2008. Yeah, and number two, we smashed the stadium down to be like them. Yeah, so I'll keep calling it out until we be like them. And all that's happening is our fans are sitting there crying about Man City. Yeah, before that, they were crying about Chelsea. When we had Wenger at the football club, before all this social media era, yeah, and then the early part of social media era, was anyone crying about Fergie? If we came second, we were like, whatever, we go again next season and we're winning it. Yeah, we didn't sit there all crying about, oh, well, they got the best manager, the best squad, the most money. Yeah, and Fergie's got all the refs in his pocket. And nobody was crying about that. But now it's fashionable, yeah, to cry about the refs, to cry about VAR, to cry about Man City, to cry about cheating. Yeah, let's have it right here. Right? We signed Marquinhos from some Brazilian team. He was a free signing. Why did we pay them $2.5 million? Yeah. That needs to be investigated. To keep good relations with that, I think it was Corinthians, maybe. I don't know, one of the clubs out there. Why did we give that football club £2.5 million for a player that's free? Yeah,
that's every Premiership club needs to look at themselves because with these charges coming on. Because let me tell you something, English football's been dirty, just like when Brian Clough was accused of taking bungs. George Graham was actually found guilty by the Premier League of taking bungs. You trying to tell me George Graham is the only manager doing it? You trying to tell me other managers weren't doing it? We all know.
Redknapp had an account in his dog's name, mate.
Yeah, we all know. We all know during the 80s and 70s that the kit man was getting all sorts of dirty money as well. We all know. We all know about players who were selling off their complimentary tickets, and high-profile players doing it all the time. And so all the things that Man City that have been accused of and Everton were found guilty of, I can tell you now, every Premiership club has tried that, has probably done it. And all of a sudden now, the Premier League, because they're getting widely investigated, because you've got all these nosy people like Panorama, Sky doing their bit, and you've got Carve Solical and them sticking his nose in, being officials and everything. That bit of tautology there, but that's the situation. Everyone's scared of getting caught. So the best thing to do when you're all at it is that when someone gets put in a firing line, you go and say, not me, not me, not me, not me. It's him. So for all the corruption that we've seen over the last 50 years in football, only George Graham was the only person out of all the managers, all the managers, only George Graham was the only one to taking bunks. Now we're having a situation where out of all the Premiership clubs since 1992, only Everton have been found, are the only ones who have been at it. And then now we're being told that only Man City and Chelsea have been at it, that every other club hasn't been at it. Really?
That's what Man United actually got fined $300,000 a couple of weeks back, and nobody's mentioned it.
But
they broke FFP, $300,000. But why didn't they get 10 points dogged?
Yeah, but that's the thing.
Because their charges weren't as bad, or their charge weren't as bad as what Everton did.
Football is like current affairs. If you punish one person for all the crimes that have been committed, that means you cleaned it all up. But what you're trying to do is you're trying to convince the public that that out of all the corruption we've known that has been going on and we've seen with our own eyes, only one club's been doing it. Make it make sense. English football is the most dirtiest football in the world. English football's dirty.
Right, you're spot on. Like everyone who says that the Premier League's the best league in the world, I don't believe it is.
No.
Yeah, I don't watch every other league in the world, but I'll tell you something, it's the best marketed league in the world. Yeah, and that's why it has so many eyes on it. Yeah, and let's be real. Yeah, La Liga's fallen off a cliff since Messi and Ronaldo and Falcao all went. Yeah, because them three, not just them three, Neymar and Benzema and other players along the way as well. They've had some unbelievable footballers in that league. Yeah, but let's be real. La Liga ain't as good as it was, but neither is the Premier League. Yeah, but the marketing in the Premier League is above and beyond anyone in any country. Yeah, and the way they peddle it and the way they dramatize everything, like the money is obviously ridiculous in comparison to every other league other than maybe Saudi, or China and somewhere maybe America. Yeah, other than that, it is the highest paying league and everyone wants to play in the Premier League. Why? Because it's got more eyes on them. They can build their own profile. They get more money. They can build this following up. And then when they finish football, they've got a massive fan base. I mean, there's footballers now like that Garnacho. He's got more followers on Instagram, than Bukayo Saka. He scored 6 goals in his entire career. Bukayo Saka's played in Euros finals. He's played in FA Cup finals. Yeah, he's playing week in, week out for Arsenal. He was carrying Arsenal on his back for 2-3 years. But this kid is being marketed as the next Ronaldo, whereas Bukayo Saka is just Bukayo Saka who's come through the academy. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's all mad. It's all about the market.
I think it'd be interesting, right? Arsenal bought 3 American players. Never really played for the club, right? When we were on an American tour, we were owned by an American family, right? So I think there's questions to be asked there.
Well, Austin Trusty never played a single game in the league, and then we flogged him. Oh, but we made money on him, and what? We didn't.
Who did the deals? Who did the deals?
Go back. Yes, go back though. Go back to the Korean players we signed and the Japanese players we signed, and who hardly ever got going. Do you remember in 2002 where you had players who paraded with the FA Cup and the Premiership in 2002, and there were obviously there's going to be some players who didn't get medals because they didn't play enough games. But they welled out a Japanese player, Unishi, what's his name again?
Inamoto.
Inamoto, right? He hardly ever played for Arsenal that season, but because we wanted to hit the Japanese market, we made sure that when he went to be presented to the, like I said, the president of the Premier League, he was able to lift the trophy and get his pictures all over the Japan and the Far East because it was good for our marketing. And that's the thing. That's how PR and corruption goes far back, and every club's at it. Every club's at it.
Yeah, Park as well. Yeah, Park another one.
Park, yeah.
But this is the thing. Like when people are crying about Mancini getting paid from a third-party account, who's to say that he didn't actually do work for that third party? Yeah, so his contract at Man City he agreed with his agent, let's say 10 million. Let's just round up figures here. Let's say 10 million a year. But what we're going to do, Mr. Mancini, is we're going to pay you 6 million from Man City. Yeah, you'll get the other 4 million from the third party. Now prove he ain't done any work for the third party. You can't. Yeah, you can't, can you? Because he might have given advisory services to that third party on footballing matters. Prove he didn't. Yeah, so when people say that's cheating, well, no, maybe it's unethical. It's not cheating. Yeah, it's not cheating, is it? It's just clever clever financing and clever accounting. Yeah. Oh, but they've got a post box in Dubai, and it's a company that's got. Yeah, go to the Cayman Islands, mate. Most of the big companies have got them as well. Yeah, most of the biggest companies on this planet have all got a box in Cayman Islands. Yeah, and it's just an office block with thousands and thousands of PO box addresses, and they're the biggest companies on the planet. Yeah, this stuff's easy. You can find it on the internet. Yeah, they've done documentaries on it on TV where they fly to the Cayman Islands and what's his name? What's his name, man? With the glasses. And he went to the Cayman Islands and he was trying to speak to the security guard on the door and they wouldn't let him in. What's his name?
Bashir? Is it Martin Bashir?
No, I think it was Louis Theroux. I think it was Louis Theroux. I may be wrong. It might have been Bashir. Either way, They went to the Cayman Islands, went to the address, and it was just an office block with a security guard standing out the front. Yeah, but the office block, there was no offices there. It was just rammed full of post boxes inside the offices. Yeah, and that was the biggest companies on the planet, all having their offshore accounts put in there. Yeah, I'll give you another one there, right? I think it's Nike. Yeah, I think it's Nike, right? Nike, obviously they sell all their products. They sell billions of pounds worth. Yeah, I think that they're in Belize, right? So they've got the English or, US version or whatever it may. I think it's the European version, right? All the money goes into that account, right? But Belize has got 1% tax rate. Yeah. So now Nike have to transfer every single penny of that to the Belize Nike company, and they pay 1%. Clever accounting. You have to pat them on the back and say, well done. And if you think that football clubs are not doing that, and you think every single football club is squeaky clean, got to ask yourself who owns these clubs and how they got so much money in the first place. Come on. Yeah.
I mean, British owners, I'm not saying, no, don't say perfect. How many millionaires own football clubs in this country? I can't think of one.
Not now, no.
But the Brighton one's a billionaire.
Oh, yes.
He's a billionaire, but other than that, I'm struggling. Sir Jim's going to own 25% of 69% of the Glazers shares. So it's not even 25% of Man United. It's 25% of the Glazers' 69%.
Yeah. But I think that's a situation.
Is the Bournemouth guy English? The guy,
I think he's English. He's a billionaire, isn't he?
Yeah. He made his money off of casinos and gambling and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know if he's a billionaire, but
he's a billionaire.
He's worth over $1 billion.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that's the situation with football now. Is that clubs get rid of chairmen who basically don't have money to spend, and the minute they hear billionaires, buying a club, the first thing they're thinking about is how much is he going to spend on players? Is he going to get us up the league? And that's what fans want. Fans want billionaires. I'm sorry, but you can't put the genie back in the bottle. If you're going to want the billionaires and you're going to want, accelerated programs of success, then it's not going to be done clean. It's not going to be done clean. It can't be done clean. There's no way Man City were ever going to, buy the club in 2008, and then 15 years later, they've won every trophy going. They're not going to be able to do that on a sort of, how do you call it, organic process. It's had to be done like yesterday, which means they bought in 2008. 4 years later, they won their first league after winning the FA Cup the year before, and afterwards it's been success after success. There's no way Abramovich was buying Chelsea on an organic basis. He wanted success like yesterday. And even mid-season, he was sacking managers because he wanted success. And that's the way things are. And football fans are happy to do that. Remember, we protested against Arsene Wenger because he wasn't doing, or Arsenal weren't doing under his stewardship, what Man City and Chelsea were doing. Simple as. We didn't want it organic. I don't want to hear people saying, "Oh, well, it's money doping." Go do something with yourselves. Go and play noughts and crosses for yourselves, or run around the pitch 50 times with your missus or something. Do that. I want to win. That's all I'm interested in.
I'll give you another example as well. Yeah, Ten Hag at Man United, right? He's come from Ajax. He's given Ajax over 200 million quid, there or thereabouts, right, on players from Ajax. Yeah, he's then signed a striker who is signed to the same agent as him. Yeah, well, is that cheating? Because the agent's getting a kickback out of that. Yeah, the agent's getting a kickback out of him signing Højlund. Yeah, I'll have Højlund because he's with my agent and you're his agent as well. So
wasn't Gary Monk doing that? Wasn't Gary Monk doing that? Every club Gary Monk went to,
I watched John Obi Mikel, sitting on a podcast with Rio Ferdinand the other day, saying that Fergie wanted him to sign for Man United, and he said he's going to Chelsea and this and that. Me and Rance did a show on it, And Fergie said to a lot of players, yeah, I'll sign you, yeah, but you have to sign with my agency, like with my agent, before I can sign you. And I think it was, I may be wrong, I may be misquoting Rance here, but I'm pretty sure it was, oh, what was the fucking, it's gone. It was on the tip of my tongue. There was a player, yeah, and he said, no, I don't want to sign with your agency. So he didn't sign him. Can't remember what player it was. Anyone who watched the show with me and Rance the other day, remind me, because it was on the tip of my tongue. But they're all doing it. Yeah. Oh, you sign with my agency, yeah, the agent I'm with, and then I'll sign you. Why? So your mate gets a kickback. Yeah. Is that cheating? Because I don't think that's cheating. I just think that's helping your mate out. Yeah, Beckham said it as well. Yeah, Beckham even said it in the documentary. Yes, Beckham said it in the documentary. Fergie wanted him before he did the Adidas deal for 50 grand, yeah, for the Predator boots, right? Fergie said, sign with my agent. And he said, I don't want to sign with your agent. Yeah, he then got the 50 grand. Yeah, it's not bullshit, John. Beckham says it in the documentary. Yeah, Ravel Morrison, that's the guy. That's the guy I was thinking of. Yeah, Beckham says in the documentary, yeah, he asked me to sign with his agent. I said, I don't want your agent. I want my own agent. Why would he want him to sign with his agent? Why?
Good point.
Come on. Is that cheating?
See, so basically, George Graham was found guilty of getting money in a suitcase. Yet these guys are doing it in a refined way. So, every deal that these players make with companies, if they sign a manager's agent, he's getting a cut, and he gets a cut of every transfer deal, either in or out.
Facts.
That is what's been going on.
Sean Dyche at Burnley was getting a percentage of the profit on player sales, and 100% Wenger was the same. Yeah, I can't prove that. There's no way that guy was selling all of our best players when the stadium cost 20 million a year for 25 years, that the Cronkies paid off 5 years ago. Yeah, over half was still remaining, or just under half was remaining. Right? There's no way when we were getting Champions League every year that we couldn't pay that 20 million quid without selling our best players. Yeah, he was getting a kickback. Come on, man.
Oh, we all know that, man. I asked this question the other day, and there's a couple of guys in the chat have just said the same thing, right? We are sponsored. One of our sponsors is Rwanda. Come to Rwanda, visit Rwanda. Yeah. Has Arsenal ever gone there and played? No.
Nope.
Right. Now, we know in Africa there's a massive Ghana, Uganda, Rwanda, God knows where else.
Yeah, Senegal, Kenya. We've got loads of fans in Kenya, Ghana, Nigeria.
Massive, huge. Right. Do we go there? No. But I just want to bring this up. Right. Talk about try and line your own pockets. Last season, in the closed season, a certain large Arsenal fan channel, where do they go? Ghana. Why do they go to Ghana? Why do they go there?
No, like they went Nigeria. They went Nigeria.
Nigeria. Whatever, it doesn't matter what the fuck it was. But yeah, they went to Nigeria, right? Why do they go there? To big up their channel and get more people following them. That's why. Now, I'm just making the comparison between two things. Arsenal do it, they did it, right? Arsenal don't go to Rwanda, who are sponsors of Arsenal Football Club. They'll go to the United States because the United States is an easy situation. The Cronkies crew set it all up, and it's nice. And they rake it in. They rake it in sales of merch, tickets, player meetings, whatever. You know, it's all money. And that is the danger, right? Now, the question I have to ask, where does Man City go when they play their overseas tour?
They went to Asia. They went to Asia this summer.
Yeah, they didn't go to bloody Saudi Arabia, did they?
Or Dubai or somewhere like that. The UAE. Yeah. But again, and Tottenham did the same. I think Tottenham was supposed to play Leicester. Yeah, and the game got called off. Rain. I remember Henry was set up to do his watch along. Yeah, an hour before kickoff, and then the game got called off. Crazy, but you're right. It's all about the money and marketing. And listen, fair play. Good luck to anyone who's doing that. Yeah, good luck to the clubs that are doing that. But then don't sit there trying to make out that you're all about the fans when you've never been on a tour of Africa. Have Arsenal ever done a tour of Africa? Because I don't think they have.
Arsenal meant to go Nigeria. I think they meant to go Nigeria 6 or 7 years ago. And they didn't go as a club, but there were other. They did send players as ambassadors there. I know Per Mertesacker was out there.
I know Saka's been a couple of times recently.
Yeah, but you think about it, the Premier League itself market themselves. Like for instance, they do have players who act as ambassadors to go and do coaching them. Like I said, seminars in all these countries, because at the end of the day, they want to sell their product and sell their, sell the product. So, TV companies from around the world could, like I said, pay for the TV rights. So the Premier League, it's been well documented. They've been to Nigeria a few times. They're always in America. So that's the thing. It's all about selling the game. It's all about making money. But a lot of the money that football makes does not get declared. It is not clean money. It isn't clean money at all. But as I said before, the theme of what we're talking about in terms of like the charges against Man City, Chelsea, and Everton being found guilty, it's like the Premier League want to say that only one club has been found is doing it. So one club's responsible for all the corruption over the last 50 years, and 2 more clubs are suspected of all the corruption in the last 50 years. When I'm thinking, well, hang on here, you have at least before on the Premier League you had 22 league clubs, and then you put it down to 20, and you've had clubs staying up or getting relegated. So you can times that by 3, and you're trying to say for all the corruption we've seen over 50 years that only one club has been at it. Really?
Yeah, it's mad. And the thing with it is, like they obviously have to be seen to be stamping authority down on clubs. Yeah, I get that, right? But let's just have it right here, right? Whether City have done anything wrong or not, or whether Chelsea have done anything wrong or not, they're not getting relegated, right? Because the Premier League, and I'm not saying it's corruption, but it's very easy to dock Everton 10 points as a founder member of the Premier League when there's 3 teams in this league that are worse than them, maybe 4 if you include Bournemouth, maybe, right? Out of all them 4 teams, excluding Everton, the 4 worst teams in the league, he's the best manager of the lot of them. So here you go. There's a 10-point deduction. Deal with it now. You've got 25 games or 26 games to rectify it. Yeah, they'll appeal it. They'll get 5 points knocked off of that, or 4 points knocked off, whatever it may be, right? Then they're straight back out the relegation zone anyway. Job done. Yeah, that's just a little naughty boy slap on the wrist, off you go, because we ain't going to relegate you. Yeah, whether you did or didn't break the FFP, whatever. Yeah, but we're not going to relegate you because you're a founder member of the Premier League. And yes, you were one of the big 5. You're not anymore, right? And now Man City and Chelsea are part of the big 6, as it is. Yeah. Do you think the Premier League, real talk, right? Man City and Chelsea could do whatever they want within reason, without getting relegated, because it had damaged the Premier League product. Yeah, and I'm not saying that is.
Do you think the Premier League?
But at the same time, if they relegate Chelsea and Man City, that's 1/3 of the big 6. See you later. Now the league's not as marketable. I'm not saying but it's different rules here, and you can bend it for that club. Yeah, do you know what I'm saying?
It's a decision. I think one of the things is that obviously a lot of fans want justice, but if you want justice, by all means have justice, but just do your research and try and rationalise your thirst for justice, and tell me and say that if you get your justice for these clubs that are basically being a pain in the arse and basically they've been a barrier to your success, don't think that no other club's been doing what these lot have been accused of, because everyone's been turning a blind eye. But I'll tell you one thing now. I don't think any team wants to play Everton now. Because I'll tell you one thing. Man United playing Everton this Sunday. Good luck, Man United. That because I'll tell you one thing, right? The players are going to be galvanised, and the crowd are going to be galvanised. It's going to be us against the world. Trust me, I don't want to be playing Everton anytime soon. I am glad when we played Everton that this was not hanging over them, because I'll tell you one thing. There's going to be no team talk at all. All it's going to be is basically the Premier League.
I'll tell you what, similar to Pep when they got their charges. Yeah, you just knew the way he was speaking in that press conference before the very next game. He was like, come out fighting. Yeah, Sean Dyche, we know he's going to come out fighting, and he don't need to do a team talk. It's us against the world. Yeah, now let's go out there and show this league jog on.
Hey, Jez Ali, do you seriously think the Premier League are going to get away with playing their kind of signature music before the Man United game after what they did to Everton?
No.
It'll be a brave man playing that music. A brave man. It's going to be a brave man putting that Premier League flag across the pitch. It's going to be a brave man having anyone from Premier League productions in there, because I'll tell you one thing. If I was working for the Premier League, I wouldn't be anywhere near Goodison Park for at least a couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, it's jokes, man. I mean, I don't.
I'm going to go to the toilet every 1 minute.
The whole thing of football now is just so corrupt, deceitful, whatever the right term is. It's disappointing, really, but that's the way football's gone. And I think the problem is with it, Kenny, it's just money. Way too much money's involved, and it's just got to the point now where it's such a high risk situation that money will buy you anything. And we've seen it with players. You know, I'm not going to get into specifics, but certain players think they're above the law. They do stupid things, and they think they're above it. And yeah, I'm not going to say. I'm sure football has been corrupt for generations.
Yeah, it has been. English football itself.
And it's because money now is so much more high profile in football. It's more sort of in the limelight. You know what I'm trying to say. It's not the right word. But go on.
You know, like the problem is with English football is that they say, oh yeah, they go on like this is something new. You only have to go across, like I said, you know, like Europe, and go across Northern Europe and go to Italy. Remember when I was a kid, and obviously when you were going to football in the 80s and the late 70s, Italy was what the Premiership was. Italian, all right, didn't have quite the marketing that they have. That you know, with obviously the marketing with America, Australia, Africa, and all the corners of the world. But anyone who's anyone, the best players in the world had to play in Italy.
Yeah.
Now everyone knew that in Italy it was dirty. Remember Paolo Rossi? He was banned for 2 years for match fixing, and you've always had the spectre of the corruption with referees and how Juventus got to finals, how Italian clubs will get into Champions League finals and winning them, or in major finals in Europe, how referees were giving the decisions that would probably make VAR look tame. You know, everyone talks about corruption, but we used to see real corruption arise in Italy. And then, so what's happening now is that there was a lot of money. There was obviously millionaires, though. They weren't quite billionaires, but they're close to millionaires. So Italy have had their problem, and they've had to clean it up because it was so blatant. Now the Premier League are seeing what's happened in Italy over the last few years, where, just as you said, money talks. Well, we're the new Italy. We're the new Italy. We've looked down our nose at Serie A and say never going to happen here. Well, yeah, it's going to happen.
And the thing is, where there's money and power, and power, there's always dodgy stuff going on. Yeah, right. Yeah. And that will never change. That doesn't matter whether it's football or any other walk of life. If there's a lot of money and a lot of power involved, yeah, and money brings power, yeah, And when you get to a certain level of money, you can basically do what you want. Yeah, let's just be real with that. You can pretty much do whatever you want. Yeah, and the way football's gone, there's way too much money invested in the game now. Players are getting paid a fortune. Yeah, like, let's be real. The players we're all watching, and we've got, 150 years of football between us three, yeah? Right? These players are crap, mate. I don't care what anyone says. The majority of these players are crap. Yeah, they are crap. Yeah, the pitches are better. The facilities are better. The stadiums may be better, although I like the older ones. Some of the new ones, I mean, Tottenham Stadium's a joke. Like, honestly, that stadium's unreal. Yeah, but everything is better, but the product has got worse. Yeah, but
these players are fitter, though. These players are fitter, and I think that's the thing. The reason why the money has gone up with football is because we want more games, and we're getting to see more games, and we get to see more football on TV. So if we see more football on TV, the players have to be fitter because we want to see more games. So basically, that's where the money's going to come from. So you're not going to breed, great players. In the 80s, it was a case of, like, if you wanted to play football, because you had Charlie Hughes and his long ball game, all you needed to be was big and strong and be able to run. Now, to play football, you have to be fit.
Yeah, you don't have to be big and strong anymore. You can be 5'6", 8 stone, dripping wet, but as long as you can run and run and run, you're sweet. You don't even need to have any ability.
But like, for instance, things like mental health. I don't think football gives a damn about mental health. They talk a good game because obviously it's a workplace and obviously it's subject to employment law. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of irritation for players who have come out about the mental health situation. Look what's happened with my guy Man United, Sancho.
Sancho, yeah.
Majority of football fans think he's a lazy waste of space and a nuisance and should be cast aside because he's getting in the way of everyone's fun. Because at the end of the day, the wheel has to turn. You can't just put a spoke in the wheel because he's got mental health. That's how football thinks. We all know it. I'm saying
look how many players you hear, ex-players, come out and say, like, I mean, Gazza's the prime example. I mean, Gazza was off his head at the best of times. But just look how many players. Mercer's another one. Amount of ex-players that have come out and said, like, what do? I finished football. Like, where do I go from here? And they just spiral out of control. And I've always said this, yeah. I think that the Football League, not just in England, but in every country, I don't think they should get paid all of their wages. Yeah, they should get paid a quarter of their wages and the rest of it, or half of their wages, and the rest gets put in a trust until when they retire. Yeah, because the amount of ex-players that go bankrupt and skint and have got no money, and let's be real, if you're an 18-year-old kid coming into football now, you're getting a decent contract. Yeah, decent contract, even if it's 10 grand a week. You're telling me an 18-year-old boy can't live on 10 grand a week when the chances are he probably lives with his family anyway. Yeah. Like, and then when they sign 100 grand a week, when they sign the 100 grand a week, what you're telling me they can't live on 100 grand a week? I know you've got to pay your tax and all of that, but again, clever accounting. Yeah, they'll probably keep 60% of that or more. Yeah. Right. Now put half of that in a trust with the Premier League or the footballers, so whoever it may be, and at the end of their career, you give them all of that lump sum. Now they can go and set up a business. They can go and do that, keep their minds fresh instead of sitting at home skint thinking, well,
Lee, there's one word though. There's one word because Mark Owens sums it word, and it's one word that begins with D. Now, me and Jez are lucky enough not to have that D word. You've never had been in a position, as far as I know, to have that D word. But one of the reasons why a lot of footballers are bankrupt when they end their careers is one word beginning with D, ending in E, and there's a V within that one word. Jez, take it away. You know the word. You know the words. Exactly, mate. He's got it down there. And Mark Owens made me laugh. If you're worth all these millions and you get a divorce,
you've lost the fucking lot, man.
Yeah, it ain't even 50-50 anymore. It's not even 50-50 anymore.
It's true, isn't it?
One of my friends, he obviously wasn't a footballer, but he had his own business and he had 4 kids. I went to his then next wedding, married for 20 years. Yeah, 4 kids, lovely family, lovely fella. Yeah, Chelsea fan, unfortunately. Yeah, and he caught his missus doing the business. He walked into his own gaff.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
and caught her doing the business. Yeah, right. She fleeced him for 70% of everything. Yeah, and his solicitor said to him, "You're better off just paying her, mate. Yeah, just pay her, because the amount of money it cost you to go through court haggling over 20% or 30%, you'll end up doing that in court fees. Go, just pay her." Yeah, it's crazy, absolutely crazy. Yeah, to be fair, the missus he's with now, multi-millionaire. Yeah, and she's lovely. Like, she's proper nice. Runs her own business and everything.
I know this is changing the subject a bit, but when you see all these footballers, right, being all naughty, I don't think I don't think some footballers can spell the word, mate.
No.
but
No.
to be honest, I don't think they do that, because obviously some of them imagine their childhood sweetheart. But you think about all these footballers, you know, who are behaving really badly within a marriage. I'll tell you one thing, man. There's one thing beginning with R, ending in E, and it's got a V in it as well. It's for revenge. You wait when you finish and you're not, your stars, you know, doesn't shine too brightly, and the fire is dim and not bright. Trust me, mate. Your wife, who could be your ex-wife, is gonna have a list of misdemeanors and crime sheet. You won't be able to do anything but put your hands up and give her the money.
Right. Mate, that's why I'm blessed here. When I went to school, yeah, in my class, right, growing up, yeah, it was only me and one other lad who had both our parents together. Every other kid in our class, and there was like 25, 30 kids in the class, every other one was a split family, separated mum and dad. Yeah, my mum and dad have been married 44, 45 years. Like, you don't see that very often, man. But it's the world we live in now. But we are going to wrap this up in a second, guys. It's been a great show, as always. Big up to everybody inside. I think some of these comments are crazy. Yeah, he did upgrade, mate. She's lovely. The woman he's with now is lovely. Proper nice woman, mate. Yeah, and he's super happy, bless him. He's probably not so happy about his football club at the minute. And I remember being at his house when Messi missed the penalty against Chelsea. Yeah, and I just walked out. I was like, "Nah, you bastards are going to win it in 2000." I was like, "You're going to win it." And I didn't even bother going to his gaff. Yeah, all of his family are Chelsea, and like, we're all mates and all that. And I was the only Arsenal fan in his house. Everyone else is Chelsea. He's got all the flags up. He's got everything going. He had the blue balloons. And then Messi misses the penalty. I just walked out. I said, "I ain't coming for the final, mate. I ain't coming here for the final."
Did you miss that? And Gary Neville basically making moaning noises when Torres scored against Barcelona.
I'll tell you another story quick. Right, I was with this girl. I was young, 99. Yeah, when Man United won the treble against Bayern, they won in the final. Right, she lived in the estate opposite mine. Right, and it was 1-0 to Bayern. Yeah, going in stoppage time or last minute or whatever. Yeah, I said, "Right, I'm off. I'm going home. Yeah, got school tomorrow, whatever." No, I didn't. I had work. Whatever. Yeah, I'd work. Right, I said, "I'm going home. I've got to get up early. Got work." Yeah, right. She rings me. Yeah, as I'm halfway home walking, it's like a 5-minute walk. She goes, "Yeah, we won." I said, "Shut up, you're chatting rubbish." Yeah, I get home. My dad sits there, goes, "They fucking won it." I was like, "No way." Yeah, and it's showing the highlights on the TV. I was like, "No way."
Cheers. How many times we say don't leave the game before the end?
Exactly.
Yeah, when it's not my club, I ain't watching it. Nah, I'm not having it, man.
It doesn't matter, mate.
It's true. That's very true. Look at the World Cup final, mate. Look at that World Cup final, yeah. Who was it that was clean through on goal and Emi Martinez made that save? Yeah, mate, that guy probably will have nightmares for the rest of his life. A bit like Henry in Paris, clean through on goal twice. He probably still thinks about that every day, mate.
I've only left the game early twice. Once was, and I did it on my show about the homes and aways. When I was at Wolverhampton away, I got a dart in my leg. They were throwing fucking darts.
180.
Bullseye.
We were walking away from where we were in the away end, and they all that lot were there, and they were throwing 10 pences with fucking Stanley knife blades glued, like Chinese star things. So anyway, I get one on the back of the leg. Didn't do any damage. I pulled it out and I went like that. And then got 2 stewards on me, right? Ripped me out, ejected me out of the bloody ground. And I was like, "Oh, fucking, well, I ain't done nothing, mate. I ain't done nothing." No, you're going to throw a dart and all this bullshit. That's the first time I left the game early. And the other one, of course, was when I was away at Man United 2 years ago, when my mum sadly passed.
I remember,
And you was really looking forward to that game as well.
Yeah, I was. I had a high fire at home, and that was a nightmare. 5-hour journey back. But anyway, that's another story. But that's the only 2 times I've ever left the ground early in my life. Once was not my fault.
The only time I've ever left was when that little rat Jesse Lingard moonwalks in front of us, and Sanchez scored against Czech as well, 2-0 in the cup, and they put 10 minutes stoppage time up. I was like, "Fuck this, see you later." I was gone. It's the only time I've ever left the ground early. But yeah, man, listen, it's been a great show, people. I'm going live with Henry in 25 minutes. It's going to redirect us there.
Is Henry doing any forfeits?
Not as yet, but he sent me this little popsicle thing, and it's called the Toe of Satan, right? And it's 8 times hotter than a lamb fowl.
No,
yeah, and it's 4.5 times hotter than the crispy at the other day. I said to him, I said, no. I said, I've had a result, mate. I'm not taking no bets with you ever again.
You ain't getting away with that one.
No chance, man. No chance.
I did watch that.
Mate, I can't believe he lasted 5 minutes after fair play to him.
Oh man.
Fair play to him.
He's got a lot of explaining to do to his friends when he goes to this. Did he go at games, Henry?
Yeah, he went Wolves, he went Chelsea. He don't go to every game, but he goes when he can.
Oh, right, yeah. So his mates are going to have a lot to say to him about, wearing Arsenal colours when you're a Spurs fan.
Right, fair play. At least he pays his bets.
Fair play.
He's got more fight and bottle in this football club, that's for sure.
You know what, Lee? I always say wait of May when it comes something about that team I don't like. I know the answer's there, but there's something about, something fluky about Tottenham, and there's something about the resilience about them. But you know what? Let's see. We've got to wait and see. We'll know more after they play Man City.
Mate, they're decimated with injuries as well. Big up to everyone inside, man. Big up to everybody inside. Make sure you are smashing the like button. How many likes are we on? Not even on 300 likes. Come on, that's shambolic. Giving you this good content. 226 on the likes. Pinned comment.
Next time we'll get like I said, David Ray's dad on. That should put that.
Yeah, man. Maybe we can get Leno's dad on, and maybe we could get Leno's dad on, and he can explain how his son lost his smile when Ramsdale took his spot. I don't know. Maybe we could do that.
Or should we get David Ray's dad and say, look, if any of you lot slack off my son, you're going to get that.
Jez, what you got coming up, man?
Yes. Tomorrow night I'm actually doing a couple of different shows. I'm doing my top 11 from the 70s, and then Wednesday a weekly chat with Kenny Kent, and then Thursday, or I think it's Thursday, I'm doing my top 11 from the 80s, which should be an interesting one. So yeah, just trying to do something different while we've got this bore fest of international bloody football. And then luckily this Saturday we get back to the real football. And I hate these international breaks. Bloody.
You're not watching this against North Macedonia tonight, Jez?
No. I'd rather watch dry.
Hey, well, you know what I'm going to do anyway? I'm going to be with Jez on Wednesday. I'm going to be at the G-Tech Stadium on Saturday. And I'm going to watch England, and hopefully Cole 1-1 Palmer starts. That's what I call Cole Palmer. I always say Cole 1-1 Palmer.
Somebody put a tweet out, a picture of me and a picture of him. Yeah. And so, I swear, I had to retweet it. Yeah. But I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. It's like I get told I look like so many different people. Who's the cricketer, man? What's the cricketer's name? Joe Root. Yeah, who's the comedian, man? There's a comedian as well. Like loads of people.
That one. The one from
Russell
South
Howard.
London.
Russell Howard. Yeah, Russell Howard. Yeah. Joe Root, Russell Howard, Chris Martin from Coldplay, Peter Crouch, Monreal. Fucking tickets.
Peter Crouch.
Macklemore. I'll tell you a real quick story, right? I was in Cancun spring break, and we was in the City Club in Cancun, me and my mate Jay, and I was mobbed. Everyone thought I was Macklemore. Yeah, and I'm standing there signing autographs. I'm taking it. I was like, yeah, yeah, Graham Potter, there's another one. The White Aubameyang, there's another one. It's crazy, but it is what it is, people. Yeah, the only one I can genuinely see is probably Graham Potter, if I'm honest.
Graham Potter, definitely Graham Potter.
But yeah, man, listen, we're wrapping this up. 20 minutes. I'm live with Henry. It's going to redirect you there. I will drop a video on the second channel later. Not sure what about yet. But I might
watch North England.
I ain't watching England, mate. Nah, no chance.
I thought you'd say that.
Chance.
I thought you'd say that.
Nah, no chance. Yeah, after watching Algeria versus Somalia the other night, mate, that's put me off international football for a long time. Hey, what it is.
Until Euro 2024 in Germany. Did you see Turkey beat Germany?
Yeah, no. But Kai Havertz at left back. Oh, I've said his name. 29 at left back.
And he scored.
It went well though. He conceded 3 and played the full 90.
He was at fault for. He gave away a penalty for the. He gave away a penalty for the goals.
Oh, I didn't see any top Gooners raving about that. Yeah, they were all raving about him scoring. I didn't see that. So yeah, wonder why. Anyway, we're out of here, people. I'll be back again on the other channel. I'll be back with Henry in 19 minutes, and then tomorrow I'm on with Rance and Terry, and I'll have a video on the other channel tomorrow as well. We're out of here, people. Great show. Big up to everyone who's joined in as well. Appreciate it. We're out. Laters.